Hi folks, it's time once more to choose my TBR for the next month, December 2024, and as is my wont, I'm going to use the bingo balls of fate mostly to decide which shelf I'm going to pick the books from, and then the decision dice of destiny to choose which books I'm going to choose from that shelf. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Right, I'll start with the vintage shelves first. Last couple of months I've had the practice of rolling both dice to get a number between 1 and 12 for one of my 12 vintage science fiction paperback shelves, the mass market paperback shelves, just to make sure that I get a couple at least in my TBR. So let's go. First shelf. Shelf 6. Oh, that's interesting. That is anthologies, I think. Let's go for another one. Shelf 8. Fantastic. Right, shelf 6 is right at the top here, and this is all anthologies of one kind or another. So I need to choose 6. Let's see. Okay, well, I can already see it. So there's a Science Fiction Hall of Fame up here, so that can be 1. We could have some Nebula Award stories. That's volumes 4 and 5. That's 2 and 3. I think I've read Andromeda 1, so we could have Andromeda 2. So that means that 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could go with the Hugo winners. Can't go wrong there. And I think I have Mirror Shades as my 6th choice. Dice of Destiny for shelf 6. 6. So it isn't the Science Fiction Hall of Fame or the Nebula Awards or Andromeda or the Hugo winners. All the big awards have missed out, but it is Mirror Shades, some cyberpunk short stories. Happy days. Shelf 8, happily for me, is my Pan Lozenge collection, and I've read hardly any of them, so I could almost throw a dart at the shelf and it would come up with an excellent book. So let me have a think. Well, Non-Stop I should read. I haven't read that. That's an Aldous. Fall of Moondust I have read, but not for ages, and I've been disappointed by Arthur C. Clarke recently, so I'm going to give that a go. I'm going to go with Bronto Mech by Michael G. Coney. That's 3. Twilight of Briarus from Mr. Cowper. Let's see. I don't want to run out too fast. So there's some Tiptree Jr. here. Up the Walls of the World, maybe. So that's 5. So one more. Oh, okay, right. Well, let's go with The Exile Waiting then. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Happy days. Dice of Destiny for shelf 8. Number 5. So it is not Non-Stop or Arthur C. Clarke or Michael Coney or Richard Cowper or James Tiptree Jr., but it is Vonda McIntyre, The Exile Waiting. Awesome. Right, let's see what the bingo balls of fate have in store for us this month. We're just going to draw 6 like this, I think. 51. So this is shelf 50, which is about 2/3 Terry Pratchett, which I'm not in a hurry to read, and actually I'm debating whether or not I even keep them on my shelves. So I'm probably not going to pick a Terry Pratchett, which says a lot, I think. But there's plenty of stuff over here in this slightly dingy corner. Some Cordwainer Smith short stories. Best of Cordwainer Smith. I could go with that. I could go with Death Arms. And then there is some women's press science fiction. So let's see. Memoirs of a Space Woman I'd like to read. A Door into Ocean. Joan Slonczewski. How many is that? 2, 4. I suppose I could go with a Joanna Russ. That's 5. Maybe I will pick a Terry Pratchett. Now, which would it be? I think the first City Watch book is Guards, so I'm going to have a go at that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's see what the Dice of Destiny have to say. Dice of Destiny for shelf 51 is 2. So it is not Guards, or Death Arms, or Joni, or Joanna, or Naomi, but it is Cordwainer Smith, so I get a nice bit of short story roughage in my diet for December. Fantastic. Shelf 15. Right, this is shelf 15, much of which I've read. I've read everything up to there, so I could read Head On, which I think is standalone. I could read book 1 of Collapsing Empire. That's 2. I haven't read The Galaxy and the Ground Within, so that's 1, 2, 3. I suppose I could go with another Cory Doctorow, Radicalised. I think that's 4 novellas, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Sparrow. I haven't read The Sparrow. What about, where does the Human division fit? Is that in the, yeah, that's in Old Man's War, and I've only read the first one. Well, okay, let's go with To Be Taught If Fortunate, another Becky Chambers. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's see what the dice have to say. Dice of Destiny for shelf 15 is a 4. So it is not Scalzi's 1 and 2. It is not Cory Doctorow or The Sparrow or To Be Taught If Fortunate, but it is The Galaxy and the Ground Within, which is the 4th of the Wayfarer series. I've read the other 3. I enjoyed them up to a point, so I'll give that one a go. Shelf 27. Now this is shelf 27, and it's only little, but it's got an embarrassment of riches on it. So let's just see. Okay, I'm going to move these 3 because I'm not going to choose any of those. Okay, so I've just read Parable of the Sower, which I really enjoyed. So Parable of the Talents would make sense as a choice. And then we've got To the Stars and Back, which is short stories in honour of Eric Brown. And then there's some books from the 101 best novels. So let's think. Aristotle. Well, I'll just pick those 3. So those 3. So the first 4 books are choices, and then I'm going to go with Authority, which is the second of the Southern Reach trilogy. I've read Annihilation. So Octavia is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's see what the dice have to say. Dice of Destiny for shelf 27. 2. So it's not Octavia, she was 1, nor is it any of these 3, or Authority, but it is To the Stars and Back, which is a short story anthology, actually, in tribute of Eric Brown. So it's more short stories. Happy days. Shelf 52. That's 51 and 52. This is shelf 50. So there's quite a lot to choose from here, which is excellent. So I've only recently read Neuromancer, so I'm going to skip William Gibson. I could go with the second book of Red Rising. I read the first one a while back. That was quite good. Well, you know, it's fun. And then we've got Under the Skin, Zoo City, and 6 Wakes, all of which I'd like to read. What else have we got down here? Hull 03, it's a Generation Ship story. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I make my 6th choice, where's it gone? I'll make my 6th choice, No Blade of Grass, which is The Death of Grass. It was published as No Blade of Grass in the US. So that's my 6. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over there. Okay. Dice of Destiny for shelf 52. 5. Okay, so it is not Golden Sun or Zoo City or Under the Skin or 6 Wakes. A bit of a shame it's not Hull 03, but it is No Blade of Grass or The Death of Grass by John Christopher, which has got a pretty cool cover. Shelf 33. So this is shelf 33, and most of which I've read. So, might be slim pickings here. So, I've read Snow Crash, so we can put that to one side. I haven't read any of these 3, so they'd be contenders. And I haven't read The Incredible Exploding Man, so that's 4. Nor have I read The Illuminati. I'm not sure I really want to either, but still. So that's 5. And then why don't we do this? I'll just pull this one over from the next shelf along. It was just on its side. So that's 6 then. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Dice of Destiny for shelf 33. 6. So it's not these guys, but it is Eric Brown's Cathani. That would be my first Eric Brown novel. So I'll have a tribute anthology and a novel by the man himself. So that's pretty cool. Shelf 50. Shelves 50, 51 and 52. What are the chances of that happening? Now then, this is shelf 50 and it's a bit of an embarrassment of riches. Most of them I have not read. There's a whole bunch of Philip Dick here that I haven't read either. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go with The Ragged Astronauts, which I think is the first of that trilogy. If it isn't, I'll find the first one if it comes up. Let's go with Science Fiction Hall of Fame. The Steerswoman's Road. That's 1, 2, 3. And then let's think. Zombies and She Climbed Across the Table. Those are both on the 100. These three are on the 101 best novels. That's 1, 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we better pick a Philip K. Dick. I'm going to go with The Man in the High Castle. I haven't read that yet and I'd like to, so that's 6. Okay, Dice of Destiny for shelf 50. Dice of Destiny for shelf 50 is a 5. Right, it's a 5. So it's not Bob Shaw, it's not the Science Fiction Hall of Fame, it's not Steerswoman's Road or As She Climbed Across the Table, nor is it The Man in the High Castle, but it is Steampunk Zombies, Happy Days. I don't think that would be too challenging to read, so I'll get through that pretty fast, I think. Right, readers' picks. I'm going to pick 2. I might actually go with both of these. So Infinity Gate and Echo of Worlds by Mike Carey form a pair. I'm hoping to have a chat with Mike Carey after Christmas about these books, so it'd be a bit embarrassing if I haven't actually read them. So I'll pick both of those for December. Bit of space opera action, Happy Days. Let's take a closer look at those books then, in no particular order. I'm really excited for these. I haven't read any Cordwainer Smith, and I think he's mostly known for his short stories. This is one of the Ballantine Books Best Of series. This is set in the instrumentality of mankind shared universe, and there's, I don't know, about a dozen stories in here. And I really don't know much about his work at all, so I'm very interested to read this and see how I get on with it. And this was actually a recent acquisition. I only got this in the most recent haul, and this is a cyberpunk anthology with works from Greg Bear, let's see, William Gibson, The Gernsback Continuum, which I think is in Burning Chrome. I might have read that already. Snake Eyes by Tom Maddox, Rock On by Pat Cadigan, Tales of Houdini by Rudy Rucker. I've not read any Rudy Rucker. 400 Boys, Mark Laidlaw, never heard of him. Solstice by James Patrick Kelly, likewise. Petra by Greg Bear. Until Human Voices Wake Us by Lewis Shiner, and Free Zone by John Shirley. And there's a couple more on the next page as well. One by Bruce Sterling and Gibson together, The Red Star, Winter Orbit, and then one by Bruce Sterling and Lewis Shiner, which is Mozart in Mirror Shades, of course. So very cyberpunky. Looking forward to that. Shouldn't be too challenging to read. And then my first Vonda McIntyre as well. Center is the sole surviving city in a storm-torn earth. It's like some hilltop city of the Renaissance, only wholly underground and quarried out of a limestone cave system. It's hierarchical, it's a free enterprise society, and the whole place fairly hums with life. The ruler and his court of perverts try to corrupt unwelcome guests, but the heroine, a remarkably believable girl, telepath and cat burglar to boot, I like her already, manages to sort them all out and escape. I think I'm going to enjoy her writing. And then another lady writer, Sherry Priest, Bone Shaker, which is the first of, I think, 2 or 3 books. And as I said when I was picking it off the shelf, I'm going to summarise this as steampunk zombies. It's set in a steam-powered Seattle, so definitely steampunky, and you can tell from the goggles, right? And there's a drill that goes wrong, and it unleashes a whole bunch of gas into Seattle and its surrounding areas. And anyone who breathes it in turns into the living dead, a zombie. So I do like, I'm partial to a good zombie, so I'm interested to see how this goes. It's a steampunk zombie mashup. And then my very first Eric Brown novel, which I'm excited to read, Cathania, is relatively recent, I think. Eric Brown died fairly recently, 2008. This is from allegedly a very competent writer of interesting science fiction books. Nothing like bedazzling or anything, but solid. So I'm keen to read him. And this is a first contact tale. When a mysterious alien race known as the Cathani make contact with the people of Earth, they bring with them the dubious gift of eternal life. Happy days. Will change the course of the human race forever, but also touch people's lives on a personal level. Very intriguing. And then we've got The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers. It's the fourth of the Wayfarer series. And whilst none of the four blew my socks off, I've surprised myself by how much I enjoyed them. Of the three that I've read, the one that I like the most is Closed and Common Orbit. And then probably it will be Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and then Record of a Spaceborne Few probably after that. And so I'll be interested to see where this one fits in. Will it be better than any of those? I don't know. It's not terribly challenging, it's not terribly earth shattering, it's not game changing literary science fiction or anything like that, but it's kind of nice, and I like the way she rolls. I suspect quite a contrast will be John Christopher's No Blade of Grass. That's how it was published in the US. This is a US edition. In the UK, it was published as The Death of Grass. And as the name suggests, so grass and all of its ilk, wheat, corn, barley, oats, you name it, rice, all of that stuff dies, and a surprising amount of our food is related to those products, and shit goes down as a result. And I think this is really a study on how quickly shit goes down, and I'm interested to read it. And then back to Eric Brown again. This is a tribute anthology. As I said, he died last year, I believe, and this anthology was put together to raise some funds for his family. And this is a Newcom Press limited edition, and it is signed by every contributor, including Jim Burns, the cover artist, and there's a whole bunch of names in here. So some of the names in here you'll recognise: Chris Beckett, James Lovegrove, Alistair Reynolds, Justina Robson, Ian Watson, Ian Waits, there's a few more, Tony Ballantyne, and I'm pretty sure I won't have read any. I think they were specially commissioned for this anthology, so they may well not have been published anywhere else, so I'm intrigued to read those. I've read a couple of Mike Carey's books recently, the zombie fungus books, what's it called, Girls with All the Gifts and The Boy on the Bridge, and I've enjoyed those, so I'm interested to see how well his writing translates into a parallel universe, multiverse tale. I initially thought these were kind of space opera, but I don't think they are. This is set in something called the Pandemonium, which is a loose affiliation of political and trading alliance of 1 million worlds, except that they're really just the one world, Earth, in its many different varieties in the various different parallel universes. There's a war going on between those on an enormous scale, so it seems. And then the second one is Echo of Worlds, and it's just the two, so it's a diptych, a duology, and this continues the story. Yeah, two mighty empires are at war, and both will lose, with thousands of planets falling to the extinction event called the Scour. At least that's what the artificial intelligence known as Rupshi believes. Parallel universe, multiverse tale. I am intrigued. Hopefully I enjoy them, because I'm planning to speak to Mike after Christmas about those books and other things. That's everything. I'm quite excited about my reading for December. Have you chosen what you're planning to read next month? Do let me know down in the comments below. I'm always interested to hear. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye for now.